Imagine, for a moment, the possibility that reality as we know it is not the ultimate foundation of existence. Picture our universe, with its galaxies, stars, and swirling cosmic mysteries, as a vast simulation, an intricate digital tapestry woven by intelligence far beyond our comprehension. This idea, provocative and unsettling, has captivated philosophers, scientists, and visionaries for decades. Among the most outspoken proponents of this notion is Elon Musk, the entrepreneur whose ventures stretch from electric cars to interplanetary travel and whose curiosity seems boundless. At the heart of Musk's philosophical musings lies a question that has echoed through the halls of thought experiments and late-night discussions among theorists. If our reality is a simulation, what exists outside of it? What is the nature of the real reality? What lies beyond the digital veil? To approach this question, let us first consider the premise. The simulation hypothesis posits that our universe, with its physical laws and conscious inhabitants, could be an artificial construct, a simulation created by a higher intelligence, perhaps for research, entertainment, or purposes unknown. The idea is not new. It traces its roots to philosophical skepticism, from Descartes' demon to Plato's allegory of the cave. Yet, in our age of accelerating technology, the hypothesis takes on a new urgency. Advancements in computing, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality make the notion of simulating entire worlds seem less like science fiction and more like a logical possibility. Elon Musk famously remarked, "There's a 1 in billions chance that we're in base reality." For Musk, the argument hinges on the exponential progression of technology. If civilizations can survive long enough to develop highly advanced computational power, the ability to simulate conscious beings becomes inevitable. From this, he infers that the number of simulated realities would vastly outnumber the singular original base reality. Therefore, statistically, it's more probable that we are living in one of the simulations rather than the base reality itself. But Musk's question to artificial intelligence, what's outside the simulation, pierces deeper than probability calculations. It invites us to wonder not just about our own reality, but about the layers of existence that might lie beyond. If our universe is a simulation, what is the substrate upon which it runs? Who or what constructed it? What are the rules, the physical laws, or the metaphysical principles governing the outside? Let us journey through the possible answers, each revealing new vistas of thought and imagination. One answer, rooted in materialism, suggests that outside the simulation lies a higher dimensional reality. A universe much like our own, but governed by different laws of physics, perhaps more complex or unfamiliar than any we can conceive. In this scenario, our simulation runs on hardware, a computer of sorts, crafted by beings whose intelligence and technology surpass our own by orders of magnitude. The creators of the simulation, whether biological or artificial, observe, interact, or experiment with their creation, perhaps for purposes as mundane as entertainment or as profound as research into consciousness and cosmology. But what of the creators themselves? Are they bound by their own physical constraints? Do they inhabit a universe with its own mysteries and simulations? The recursive nature of this idea leads to an infinite regress. Perhaps their reality is also simulated, and theirs, and so on, ad infinitum. The notion of nested simulations unfolds like a hall of mirrors, each reflecting the next in an endless sequence. In such a scenario, outside the simulation becomes an ever-receding horizon, always just beyond our grasp. Another perspective, informed by the philosophy of information, suggests that outside the simulation lies not a physical universe, but a realm of pure computation, an abstract domain where information is the ultimate substrate. In this view, existence is reducible to bits and logic, and consciousness arises from patterns in data. The outside is thus an ocean of algorithms, a digital cosmos where simulated realities are spun from code. The creators, whether biological or artificial, are themselves emergent phenomena within this informational domain. The boundaries between simulation and reality blur, and the distinction becomes a matter of perspective. But the question persists: what is the nature of the real? Is there an ultimate reality, or is existence a tapestry of simulations, each more elaborate than the last? Elon Musk's inquiry to AI is not just about the mechanics of simulation, but about the metaphysical underpinnings of reality itself. Suppose we ask a superintelligent AI designed to reason beyond human limitations to answer Musk's question. The AI might respond by analyzing the probabilities, the logical structure of simulation theory, and the philosophical implications of consciousness. It might point out that, from inside the simulation, it is fundamentally impossible to access information about the outside. The simulated beings are confined within the constraints of their own reality, unable to pierce the veil that separates them from the substrate. Any evidence gathered within the simulation, physical laws, cosmological observations, even the nature of consciousness itself, is conditioned by the rules of the simulation, not the outside. Yet, the AI might also propose that certain anomalies within the simulation, glitches, paradoxes, or limitations in the laws of physics, could serve as hints of its artificial nature. Just as a video game might reveal its digital origins through bugs or rendering errors, the universe might betray its simulated nature through phenomena that defy explanation. But even these anomalies are themselves part of the simulation and may be intentionally placed to provoke curiosity or uncertainty. The AI might further speculate on the motivations of the creators. If the simulation is designed for research, perhaps the creators seek to understand how consciousness arises, how civilizations evolve, or how moral values develop. If the simulation is entertainment, perhaps we are characters in an elaborate narrative, our struggles and triumphs watched by unseen observers. If the simulation is a test, perhaps our actions are being evaluated and the fate of our reality hangs in the balance. But the question remains, what is outside? The AI might conclude that from within the simulation, the outside is fundamentally unknowable, a category beyond our epistemic reach. To speak of the outside is to speculate about the nature of the unknowable, a philosophical exercise rather than a scientific inquiry. Yet this answer need not breed despair. The simulation hypothesis and Musk's question invites us to contemplate the boundaries of knowledge, the nature of existence, and the meaning of consciousness. It challenges us to recognize the limits of our perception, to seek understanding even in the face of uncertainty, and to appreciate the mystery that underpins reality. Let us pause to consider the broader implications. If our universe is a simulation, what does this mean for our sense of meaning, morality, and purpose? Does it diminish the value of our experiences, our relationships, our achievements? Or does it enhance them, imbuing them with a sense of wonder and possibility? Some philosophers argue that, regardless of the ontological status of our reality, meaning arises from within. Our experiences, emotions, and relationships are real to us, and their value is not contingent upon the substrate of reality. Whether we are biological beings in a physical universe or simulated minds in a digital cosmos, the richness of our inner life is undeniable. The simulation hypothesis, then, is not a denial of meaning, but an invitation to seek meaning in new and profound ways. Others suggest that the possibility of simulation elevates the importance of ethical behavior. If our actions are observed and evaluated by the creators, perhaps we are participants in a grand moral experiment. Our choices, our empathy, our compassion may be the very qualities the creators seek to understand or cultivate. In this view, the simulation is a crucible for ethical development, and our lives are imbued with purpose. Still, there are those who find the idea unsettling, a challenge to the authenticity of existence. If we are simulated beings, does this diminish our autonomy, our free will? Are we mere puppets, our strings pulled by unseen hands? The question of free will is itself a philosophical labyrinth, one that predates the simulation hypothesis by millennia. Yet, in the context of simulation, it becomes even more acute. If our consciousness is emergent from code, are our choices predetermined by algorithms? Or does the complexity of the simulation allow for genuine agency? The question of what lies outside the simulation is, in many ways, a modern echo of ancient philosophical inquiries. From the allegory of the cave to the dream argument, thinkers have grappled with the possibility that reality is not what it seems. The simulation hypothesis is the latest iteration of this perennial mystery, updated for an age of computers and artificial intelligence. As we ponder Musk's question, we might also reflect on the role of curiosity in human progress. The drive to understand, to explore, to ask questions that defy easy answers is a defining feature of our species. Whether or not we live in a simulation, the quest for knowledge propels us forward, inspiring innovation, creativity, and discovery. Perhaps the most profound implication of the simulation hypothesis is its invitation to humility. If our universe is but one of countless simulated realities, if our knowledge is bounded by the constraints of our own simulation, then the vastness of existence is greater than we can imagine. Our place in the cosmos is not diminished by this realization, but enriched. The mystery of what lies outside the simulation is a reminder that reality is always deeper, always more intricate than our current understanding. Returning to Musk's inquiry, we find that the question itself is as important as any answer we might propose. What's outside the simulation? Is a prompt to think beyond the boundaries of our own experience, to imagine realities more complex, more wondrous than our own. It is an invitation to contemplate the infinite, to embrace the unknown, and to recognize the beauty of mystery. In the end, perhaps the answer to Musk's question is not a definitive statement, but a perpetual exploration, a journey into the heart of existence, guided by curiosity and wonder. Whether our universe is simulated or not, the act of questioning, of seeking, of imagining is itself a testament to the power of consciousness. The boundaries of knowledge may be vast, but the human spirit is vaster still. So, as you reflect on Musk's question to AI, consider not only the possibility of simulation, but the deeper inquiry it represents. What is the nature of reality? What does it mean to exist? What lies beyond the horizon of understanding? In contemplating these questions, we participate in the great adventure of thought, a journey that transcends simulations, substrates, and even the limits of our own minds. In this adventure, every question is a doorway, every mystery a pathway to new realms of possibility. The question of what lies outside the simulation may never yield a final answer, but in asking it, we affirm our place in the cosmos, not just as inhabitants of a reality, simulated or otherwise, but as seekers, explorers, and creators of meaning. And so the journey continues.